recording now.
Okay.
Hello and welcome everyone. As part of our second C11 Cyber Symposium 2022, Dr. Saritha will be delivering a very informative talk on enterprise security and blockchain, exploring risk and threat. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Saritha. She's an EMEA lead for IBM Export Command Center, executive security advisor for C-suite, board of directors, senior leaders, and trusted advisors. She's also master inventor. Welcome, Dr. Saritha, and thank you for taking time out for this. So as part of your talk, we'll have this introductory conversation where we are going to talk a little bit about what you're going to discuss in your actual talk in the symposium. So I've got a couple of questions for you. My first question is, where does blockchain sits in enterprise security?
Okay, yeah, a very interesting question there. So blockchain becomes one component of the overall enterprise security. It's like when you have, when you look at the overall security of a system, you have identity, you have access management, you have a number of different components, whether it's security monitoring and so on. So the blockchain as a whole, it sits as in between. You know, once you have users coming in or logging on into systems using identity access management, blockchain is the one that kicks in after that, which looks at what are the particular requests. You know, is it coming from a consortium? Is it coming from individual organizations? Based on that, blockchain will look at the transactions, do the required endorsements, and then pass it on to the rest of the channel. So that's how blockchain fits in the overall enterprise security, if you like. So it becomes part of, it's one of the essential components that looks at, you know, whether it's a number of things is blockchain, what blockchain allows you to do, right? Blockchain security enhances the overall traceability. It looks at how you can validate, verify transactions. It also makes sure that it's immutable. So you are able to track back and see how things are working, how things have worked in the past, and also keep a track of what's happened, what went well, what didn't go well, and so on. So that's what the role of blockchain is. It becomes one main key component in the overall enterprise security, if you like.
Thank you. That's very informative. Just to follow that up, what do you think are the main risks, in your opinion, in enterprise security?
So again, you know, when you look at overall enterprise security and considering blockchain into the mix as well, I think I can categorize the risks. Sorry, 1 second. I have to pause. I've got some cleaners. Let me close the door.
Sure.
Sorry about that.
No problem. I'll ask the question again.
Yeah, you can ask the question again. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll edit it out. So as a follow-up, you mentioned enterprise security. So what are the main risks, in your opinion, in enterprise security?
Sure. So when we look at risks as a whole and thinking about blockchain as well in the mix, we can categorize these risks into three main categories, if you like. One is looking at the people side of things, then it's the process side of things, and then it's the technology side of things. And again, you can think of it in a number of different ways. So whenever I talk about blockchain and enterprise security, I'm looking at risks that would think about financial side of risk, governance side of risk. It could be, you know, identity side of risks. It could be looking at key management side of risks. It could be looking at the blockchain channels itself side of risk. So there are a number of things, as I said, three categories, and then you drill down into each one of those. You look at the risks there. You also try and think about what are some of the recent things that have evolved, because blockchain is constantly evolving. So based on blockchain being a new platform, a new area, there are some new risks that have triggered by adding blockchain into your overall enterprise security. So the conventional risks will still stay, but on top of it, you will have new risks based on the new blockchain platform coming into the mix as well. And yeah, we can go into a lot more details about this, have discussions during the talk as well. But I think that is the overall gist of you know, what the risks are.
Great. You've quite articulately described the risk enterprise face in terms of security. In the context of blockchain, is the usage of public and private blockchain context or requirement dependent?
It's kind of both, I would say. A lot of times, some of the clients that I have worked with, they specifically tell me, this is the setup. We have a consortium. So a consortium is number of different organizations coming together. So when it's a consortium, it is definitely a private blockchain. Why? Because there will be 5 or 10 participants or entities or organizations that are going to be part of this private network, who will be the only participants who would like to see each other's transactions, who would like to give permission to each other to refer or to validate or to endorse their transactions. So that's why the need for a private blockchain when organizations form something like a consortium. But when there is no requirement for any privacy, any authentication, any security, then public blockchains are used. But more and more organizations are coming together to form consortiums. So most of the engagements that I have had with clients across the world has always been for private blockchains. So I see the requirement for organizations to come together, whether it's open trade transactions, whether it's food related, whether it's healthcare, whether it's retail, different types of organizations. It's a number of different organizations coming together in a private blockchain so that it is still private, but it allows those different entities who are part of this consortium, who are part of this network, to be able to work together.
Thank you. That's really interesting. And in the same context, I mean, blockchain is quite rapidly evolving, and it's been implemented in different scenarios, in different business cases and use cases. And because it's something which is really interesting for researchers, for businesses, there's a risk for its adoption as well. So is there an actual need of blockchain, whether public or private, in order to enhance enterprise security?
So I would say it really depends on what is the objective of using blockchain in an enterprise setup. What is the real objective? Is the objective that a number of different organizations who are working independently, but they are coming together in collaboration towards a particular goal, end goal? That is when they would try and think about having a consortium or working together as a number of collective organizations coming together. There is a requirement for authentication, for privacy, for immutability, for trust between these different entities who are independent organizations, having their independent identity access management systems, having their own independent platforms, independent security systems. There is a real need for them to come together, because it is beneficial for these organizations to come together as they are anyway working together, but they're doing things independently, doing things in a duplicate fashion. Whereas if they come together in this blockchain consortium, it then helps them achieve a goal, but also be part of this consortium and be able to do a lot of things being part of this consortium under the blockchain platform. But if the need is just because blockchain is a new cool thing and they want to add it to their overall enterprise security and there is no real use case, then I wouldn't recommend using blockchain. But when there is a real requirement of different, let's say different financial organizations want to come together, look at something like decentralized identity, but they want to come together in case of, looking at different banks or different types of organizations that would have some kind of trust on each other, be able to track back at the immutability aspects, be able to verify and validate people and organizations. That's when there is a real need for blockchain infrastructure. And this is applicable to all sorts of industries, whether it's healthcare, whether it's finance, whether it's governmental organization. It really works well when there is a really good use case where government bodies have to come together to make something available to consumers, right? A perfect use case of using blockchain for such a scenario. So hopefully that's given a quick overview on where blockchain can be used.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was brilliant. And the use case you mentioned towards the end, that was a perfect example for even people who are new to this field, or who don't understand the actual mechanics of blockchain, the way it can sit and how it can be used in not just security, uh, in any use case in business. Thank you very much, Dr. Saritha, for your time. It was quite an informative discussion, and the way you address these topics, I'm sure it will spark more curiosity amongst the audience of Cyber Symposium. And we are looking forward to hosting your talk on 7th of July at C11. Thank you very much again for your time. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, and I look forward to being there and seeing everybody.
Yep. Uh, I've